Happy birthday to legendary Hollywood actor Sylvester Stallone. Happy birthday to actor and comedian Kevin Hart. Xavier back again with another video. I'm so sorry that it took me so long to do this rant because I had a long day from work to workout, you name it. But I'm here now. And before I get to the subject of this rant, you guys know today has been a year since we lost actor Cameron Boyce. If you remember Cameron Boyce, he is best known from being on the Disney Channel original series Jessie and on the TV show Grown Ups. And he was also on the Descent movie series. Today's been a year since Cameron Boyce died in his sleep from an epilepsy seizure at 20 years old. Cameron Boyce was taken from us way too soon at a young age. It's been a year since he died. Now today, a year later, Charlie Daniels dies at the age of 83. So before I get to the subject of this rant, we're going to bow our heads in a moment of silence for Cameron Boyce. He's definitely missed, and Charlie Daniels will definitely be missed himself. Thank you. Now we have two special birthdays. Today is the 30th birthday of actor Jeremy Suarez and the 45th birthday of legendary hip-hop artist, actor, entrepreneur, and businessman Kurtis Jackson III, better known by his rap name 50 Cent, aka Ferrari F50. Let's talk about Jeremy Suarez first. If you know who Jeremy Suarez is, he is best known as the character Jordan Tompkins on the Fox sitcom The Bernie Mac Show from 2001 to 2006. Before his days on The Bernie Mac Show, he made his acting debut in 1996 in Jerry Maguire as Rod Tidwell's son Tyson. During his days on The Bernie Mac Show, he voiced Coda in Brother Bear 1 and 2. And I remember he was on that one episode of the Wayans Bros. The episode is called The Son of Marlon, where he plays the character Dexter. I definitely remember watching him on the Wayans Bros. Before the Bernie Mac Show. My thoughts about Jeremy Suarez turning 30. This young man does not look 30. He still looked the same as he was when he was working on the Bernie Mac Show. Him and Camille Winbush, who played Vanessa on the Bernie Mac Show, are the same age in real life. They're both 30 years old. Camille Winbush just turned 30 in February. They don't look like their age. Neither does Dee Dee Davis, who played Baby Girl. She don't look 24. And she has a child of her own. But I can't believe Jeremy Suarez is now 30. And he don't even look like his age. The kids that was on the Bernie Mac Show are all grown up now. They're grown adults. One is 24 and the other two are 30. So, happy birthday to Jeremy Suarez. Thank you for the memories of playing Jordan on the Bernie Mac Show. I still watch the Bernie Mac Show to this day. It's not on Netflix, it's on Hulu, and it's on the TV channel Aspire, and on Black Star's channel. Now, let's talk about 50 Cent. Be right back. Now, let's talk about 50 Cent. 50 Cent was born Kurtis Jackson III on July 6, 1975 in the Southside Jamaican Queens, New York City, by his mother Sabrina. His mother, Sabrina, was a drug dealer, and she raised 50 Cent until she died in a mysterious fire when 50 Cent was 8 years old. Oh, you guys know the story about 50 Cent's life if you've seen his movie Get Rich or Die Trying. After his mother's death and his father's departure, 50 Cent was raised by his grandmother. He began boxing at the age of 11, and when he was 14, a neighbor opened a boxing gym for local youth. When I wasn't killing time in school, I was sparring in the gym or selling crack on the strip, Jackson remembered. I was competitive in the ring, and hip-hop is competitive too. I think rappers condition themselves like boxers, so they all kind of feel like they're the champ. At the age of 12, 50 Cent began dealing narcotics when his grandparents thought he was in after high school programs, and bought guns and drug money to school. In the 10th grade, 50 Cent was caught by metal detectors at Andrew Jackson High School. I was embarrassed that I got arrested like that. After I got arrested, I stopped hiding it. I was telling my grandmother I sell drugs. On June 29, 1994, 50 Cent was arrested for selling 4 vials of cocaine to an undercover police officer. He was arrested again 3 weeks later when police searched his home and found heroin, 10 ounces of crack cocaine, and a starting pistol. Although 50 Cent was sentenced to 3 to 9 years in prison, he served 6 months in a boot camp and earned his GED. He said that he did not use cocaine himself. He was adopted the nickname 50 Cent as a metaphor to change. The name 50 Cent was inspired by Kelvin Martin, a 1980s Brooklyn robber known as 50 Cent. Jackson chose it because it says everything I want it to say. I'm the same kind of person 50 Cent was. I provide for myself by any means. 50 Cent began rapping in a friend's basement where he used turntables to record over instrumentals. In 1996, a friend introduced him to Jam Master Jay of Run DMC, who was established in Jam Master Jay Records. Jam Master Jay taught 50 Cent how to count bars, write choruses, structure songs, and make records. 50 Cent's first appearance was on React with Onyx for their 1998 album Shut 'Em Down. He credited Jam Master Jay for improving his ability to write hooks, and Jay produced Jackson's first unreleased album. In 1999, after 50 Cent left Jam Master Jay, the platinum-selling producers Trackmaster signed him to Columbia Records. They sent him to an upstate New York studio where he produced 36 songs in 2 weeks. 18 were included on his 2000 album, Power of the Dollar. Yeah, Power of the Dollar was the unreleased album by 50 Cent. It was supposed to be his major debut album in 2000, but the album never got released. 3 singles include one of his biggest hits from that album, How to Rob, featuring Mad the Rapper, Thug Love, and Your Life's on the Line, a diss track to Ja Rule. "20 years ago on May 24th, 50 Cent was attacked by a gunman outside his grandmother's former home in South Jamaica. After getting into a friend's car, he was asked to return to the house to get some jewelry. His son was in the house and his grandmother was in the front yard. Jackson returned to the back seat of the car, and another car pulled up nearby. An assailant walked up and fired 9 shots at close range with a 9mm handgun. 50 Cent was shot in the hand, arm, hip, both legs, chest, and left cheek. His facial wound resulted in a swollen tongue, the loss of the wisdom tooth, and a slightly slurred voice. Wow. 50 Cent got shot 9 times. And eventually 50 Cent got signed to Eminem's Shady Records, Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment, and of course Jimmy Iovine's Interscope Records. On February 6, 2003, 50 released his debut album Get Rich or Die Trying by Shady Records, his own record label G Unit, Aftermath Entertainment, and Interscope Records. After signing with Eminem, 50 Cent also worked heavily with Dr. Dre, with the duo acting as the album's executive producers, who worked to combine the gangster rap and R&B combo. Get Rich or Die Trying debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. And the album was certified 9 times platinum. It's obviously 50 Cent's best album too, Get Rich or Die Trying. He released 5 singles. Of course, one of his biggest hits, In the Club, Miniman, PIMP, If I Can't, and 21 Questions. There was another song that he didn't put out as a single that I know. I believe it's called Patiently Waiting, featuring Eminem. Guest appearances from Tony Ayo, Lloyd Banks, Young Buck, and Eminem. There was another song from the Get Rich or Die Trying album that he didn't put out as a single, What Up Gangsta. Months later, on November 14th, 50 and his group, the G Unit, released their debut album, Stunt 101. Yep, 9 months after 50 Cent released Get Rich or Die Trying. And the album went 4 times platinum. 4 singles from that album: Stunt 101, Poppin' Them Things, Wanna Get to Know You featuring Joe, and Smile. And this was, this album had 50 Cent, Lloyd Banks, and Young Buck, with support from Tony Ayo, who is an original member but was in prison at the time of the album's main recordings. At the time of the album's release, The Game was a new member of G Unit. Hold on a second. On March 3rd, 2005, 50 released his second album, The Massacre. The album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, selling 1.15 million copies in its first week. I believe the album went double platinum or 6 times platinum. I did a rant about this album in honor of his 15th anniversary. The album was nominated for a Grammy for Best Rap Album, but it lost to Kanye's Late Registration. Singles from the album: Disco Inferno, Candy Shop, Just a Little Bit, and Out of Control. This when 50 Cent became hypocritical, criticizing Ja Rule for making love songs with female R&B artists, but he turned around and started doing the same shit, collaborated with his former G-Unit artist Olivia, he collaborated with Sierra, and he collaborated with J-Lo. Since that time, people did not take 50 Cent seriously anymore. Also in 2005, 50 Cent made his film debut in Get Rich or Die Trying. Yep, I still got the movie on DVD, 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. And I got the soundtrack to the movie. Yeah, this is the clean version, but I'm planning to get the dirty version later on this year to celebrate 15 years of it. Let me see. On 9/11/2011, 50 Cent released his third album, Kurtis. This album went up against Kanye's Graduation album, and we all know Kanye's Graduation album won the best-selling records against 50 Cent's Kurtis. The album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, selling 691,000 copies in its first week. After years of slumping sales, the album's competition with Kanye's Graduation and the resulting record-breaking performance both albums display was considered to be a great day for hip-hop. He released 5 singles: Ayo Technology, I Get Money, Straight to the Bank, Amusement Park, and I'll Still Kill. On July 1st, 2008, 50 Cent and G-Unit released their second album, Terminator on Sight. This was their first album since their first album, Beg for Mercy. It was scheduled to be released on June 24th, but was rescheduled for July 1st. The album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 and number 4 on the Billboard 200 and number 2 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart. 3 singles: I Like the Way She Do It, Rider Part 2, and Close to Me. On November 9th, 2009, 50 Cent released his 4th album, Before I Self-Destruct. This was 50 Cent's final solo album, released with Shady Records, Aftermath Entertainment, and Interscope Records, excluding his 2017 Greatest Hits album, Best Of. The album was certified platinum and debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart. Baby by Me and Do You Think About Me is the 2 singles from the album. On June 3rd, 2014, 2 weeks before my 23rd birthday, 50 released his 5th album, Animal Ambition. The album debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart. Yeah, I wasn't really feeling this album by 50. His first album, without being under Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment and Eminem's Shady Records. And 50 Cent has yet to release his 6th album, Street King Immortal. Let's see what other movies 50 Cent was in besides Get Rich or Die Trying. Because I know he was on another movie with Val Kilmer and Sharon Stone. 50 Cent voiced a fictional version of himself on The Simpsons episode Prankster Rap. I definitely remember that. 50 Cent also made his video game debut in the video game 50 Cent Bulletproof. And another video game of his, 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. And Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And also 50 Cent started in the Starz hit drama Power that ran for 6 seasons from June 7, 2014 to February 9, 2020. So, my thoughts about 50 turning 45. 50 still looks the same as he was when he first came out. He don't look like no 55. Man, 50 Cent still looks the same after all these years. But no doubt about it, 50 Cent is a legend. And let's talk about all the feuds, all the rappers that he had a feud with. Starting with his biggest rivalry with Ja Rule. So pretty much the feud between Ja Rule and 50 Cent started when they saying that a friend robbed jewelry from Ja Rule and the latter accused him of orchestrating the robbery. Ja Rule said the conflict stemmed from a Queen's video shoot when 50 Cent did not like seeing him getting so much love from the neighborhood. Man, 50 Cent and Ja Rule's feud is definitely unforgettable. And like I said in my reaction to their feud, 20 years later, they're still beefing to this day. Over Instagram, over Twitter, they still beefing with each other over the internet. These niggas really don't like each other since day one. And we all know who won this feud, even though one of them was being hypocritical. The next rapper that 50 Cent had a feud with was, of course, The Game. Although 50 Cent was close to The Game before the documentary album was released. But after the documentary was released, 50 Cent felt that The Game was being disloyal to G-Unit and that 50 Cent kicked them out of the group for being disloyal. And we all know The Game dissed 50 Cent and G-Unit at several of his concerts, boycotting G-Unit, calling them G-Unite. 50 Cent and The Game's feud continued until they squashed it on August 1st, 2016, when they was in a strip club in LA. And The Game said, "What happened? That shit was 12 years ago." This is about time 50 Cent and The Game finally squashed their feud. They should have done that a long time ago. Oh, here was another feud that 50 Cent had that I saw on YouTube earlier. Of course, he had a feud with fake-ass Rick Ross. We all know who won this feud, even though this feud wasn't that good. 50 Cent destroyed Rick Ross in that Officer Ricky song. The feud started when at the 2009 BET Awards. And then 50 Cent posted a video on YouTube saying that he was going to fuck Rick Ross' life up. And guess what? That's exactly what 50 Cent did. 50 Cent destroyed Rick Ross. How did Rick Ross even survive after that Officer Ricky song that 50 Cent did towards him? I don't know. But yeah, man, I can't believe 50 Cent is now 45. 50 Cent is definitely a legend. He was my favorite rapper after the notorious B.I.G. died, but now I don't know who's my favorite rapper to this day, because to me, the Massacre has to be 50 Cent's last good album. even though the album is not that good. Kanye's Late Registration is better than 50 Cent's The Massacre. Hell, even the documentary is better than 50 Cent's The Massacre. But yeah, man, 50 Cent is now the big 4-5. And he don't even look like his age. 50 Cent is still one of the best rappers to ever do it. Thank you, 50 Cent, for everything that you've done in your career. Keep up the good work, bro. I'm still a 50 Cent fan to this day, even though he's not my favorite rapper anymore. Don't worry, I'm definitely going to get his debut album, Get Rich or Die Trying, which is obviously his best. But until then, I got his album, The Massacre, and the Get Rich or Die Trying soundtrack. With that being said, that's going to wrap up my rant celebrating the 30th birthday of Jeremy Suarez and the 45th birthday of 50 Cent. If you're new here, hit subscribe if you like the content and hit that notification bell for my next rant on one of my favorite celebrities in honor of their birthday. If you're not new here, give this video a thumbs up